Hello, David Zaritsky for the Bond Experience. Welcome back. Well, with No Time to Die sort of in the rearview mirror at this point, there's still a lot of discussion about the Daniel Craig arc. And why not? I mean, he's brought us some incredible movies over the last 15 years. I doff my hat to him as usual. I mean, look at this. I'm even wearing the Sunspell polo. I've got the Omega watch he wears in Casino Royale. I'm surrounded by Daniel Craig Bond moments. We all are. And let's face it, we've really brought up a generation of Bond fans around Daniel Craig. And there's nothing wrong with that. But here's the thing. We are in the 60th anniversary of the Bond franchise. And let's face it, if I'm talking to you right now, if you're listening to me, chances are you're a bit of a Bond aficionado. You're a Bond fan, but probably even more than that, you're a bit of a Sherpa, a guide, and maybe even an ambassador to the Bond franchise. David, what are you talking about? Nobody ever dubbed me a Bond ambassador or a Sherpa, a guide to the franchise. Aha, but you sort of are, especially to a younger or new generation just being introduced to James Bond. Daniel Craig did an amazing job doing this, and No Time to Die as well. But we have to celebrate all the other movies. So here's what I've done. I put together a little bit of a playbook. Call it less of a manifesto and more about a guide, if you will, when you are talking to individuals who love the Daniel Craig arc, the Daniel Craig movies. You can say to them, well, if you loved this Daniel Craig movie, you're going to love this other James Bond film that happens to be a little bit older, but nonetheless important and a lot of fun. But they've got to be related. So here we go. And again, you can use this as a guide. You can come up with your own. I'd love to see in your comments which Daniel Craig movies you associate with the older movies, because let's face it, let's play a scenario. Somebody comes up to you and says, yeah, I haven't seen all the Bond films, I've seen the Craig films. You could say, well, if you liked Casino Royale, you're going to love this one. And now, with that premise, we're off to the races. So if you loved Casino Royale, chances are you're going to love GoldenEye. Now, why is that? Well, GoldenEye is a bit of a reboot itself. It's not just a reboot of the character, kind of a new theme, a new way, but more importantly, a new actor in Pierce Brosnan. But more importantly for me, with Casino Royale and GoldenEye, the reason why if you like this one, you'll love GoldenEye is story. It's got an incredibly well-written story, a really sound bad guy, and it also has a really good crunchy surround sound of the other characters, the Bond girl, the baddies, the henchmen. They all come together. It's the same with Casino Royale. Now, does it get dinged on theme? Yeah, but other than that, GoldenEye is to me nearly as solid, or it's almost as solid as Casino Royale if you want that Pierce Brosnan story. The other one, From Russia with Love. Now, it's hard to argue that From Russia with Love is an amazing Bond film, but I'm going to start generating people back to the Connery era. I feel obligated. But From Russia with Love has an incredible story, has an incredible plot, and it's got intrigue. Casino Royale has that same thing. It's got the different locations. It's got the moments. It's beautifully shot. The music is incredible in From Russia with Love. And yes, the bad guys, the Bond girl, they're all intertwined. Plus, I've got to tell you something, badass Bond. Daniel Craig is badass in Casino Royale. And you know what? Sean Connery's badass in From Russia with Love. The fight scene on the train, the way he treats people, the spy intrigue that he connects himself with, it's unbelievable. And I've got to give Roger Moore some love here, because if you love Casino Royale, I think you'll love Roger Moore's The Spy Who Loved Me. Now, even Roger Moore said this is his favorite film, but it's because it's got a simple, easy to follow parallel story. It moves forward. It's got great exotic locations, just like Casino Royale. It moves Bond through in a logical way to a story, and Bond evolves. I think that's very important as you kind of look at pulling Bond along in the storyline. Sweeping music, beautifully shot. Yeah, if you like Casino Royale, you're going to love The Spy Who Loved Me. All right, we've got to go on to Quantum of Solace. Don't hit that delete button. Come on. Give my poster child some love, will you? Quantum of Solace. So Quantum of Solace, fast-paced, whether it's the editing or the storyline or a conjugated film to itself, but it's badass Bond. It's got incredible fashion. So if you loved Quantum of Solace, to me, you're going to love Thunderball. Thunderball is Sean Connery's Quantum of Solace. What do I mean by that? Well, first of all, it's fast-paced, and you're like, David, have you seen the underwater scenes? All right, I'll give you that. But to me, this is high fashion, high style, and it transports you. Just like Quantum of Solace has Sienna and all these different incredible locations. It's moving you through. It's like a travelogue, for goodness sakes. And Thunderball is the same way. You also get some incredibly, I'll just say, that kind of swagger Bond. That Bond who's very confident in himself, dare I say, confident to cocky, and these badass moments that Thunderball spells. But the man with the golden gun. Yeah, you're like, David, are you okay? The Man with the Golden Gun, I love The Man with the Golden Gun. To me, it is popcorn. It's remove your brain at the door and just get ready for a ride. Yeah, that's Quantum of Solace. And so I think The Man with the Golden Gun takes you on for a ride. And let's face it, it's not everybody's love child, but every now and then you've got to give that child, your not favorite child, a little bit of love. And I think it's the perfect one to do that. For Your Eyes Only. For Your Eyes Only, I think, is a very solid Roger Moore film. And I think if you like Quantum of Solace's revenge factor, trying to find solace, but revenge and going a bit rogue, For Your Eyes Only has those great revenge moments. And we've got to talk about License to Kill. Because in License to Kill, who I know you saw that video on Timothy Dalton, there's been a resurgence within me, and I think the Bond community, around Timothy Dalton. License to Kill has that wonderful Bond puts down his badge and he goes rogue, and he's just, what does the poster say? His bad side is a dangerous place to be. That's Quantum of Solace. I would not want to meet Daniel Craig's Bond in an elevator, and I don't want to meet Timothy Dalton's Bond in an elevator, if you know what I mean. And then finally, if you like Quantum of Solace, I think you're going to like Tomorrow Never Dies. And the reason is because it's not everybody's storyline or kind of the Moumenchance moments. Moumenchance, David, you just lost everybody. Anyway, look it up. But the reality is that Tomorrow Never Dies has a lot of fun factor to it. It's got this wonderful movement. The music is great, the visuals are great, and you kind of can't deny that Brosnan brings that Bond hard-edged charm to an evolved character. All right. We're going to move to Skyfall. Now, I have a huge, huge heart for Skyfall. I know people talk about, the whole escape with Silva and things like that, but Skyfall has this emotional story that kind of brings it right through. But to me, Skyfall's become kind of a Daniel Craig classic. So if you like Skyfall, I think you're going to love Goldfinger. Yeah, Goldfinger, because number one, Silva is an amazing bad guy. I think he's one of the better bad guys, and so is Goldfinger. So if you like your James Bonds to have a solid bad guy with a pretty decent motive, then I think Goldfinger's for you. Plus, it's got some incredibly action-oriented moments. Let's face it, it's a classic. But if you like this, I think Live and Let Die is right there with that. Why? Because to me, Live and Let Die has these characters all kind of working together, but it's bringing Bond on a journey and a ride from a location to a location. And you're going to say, all right, you've gone off the deep end, David. But there's a fun factor in Skyfall. There's a piece of you that has to remove your brain if you're going to believe Silva's escape and things like that. And this larger in life, I think that's maybe Moonraker. And Moonraker's a great way to introduce a younger Bond fan to James Bond. And I think Skyfall's the same way. Quantum of Solace is a little bit frantic, and I think Casino Royale has got that kind of love story that kids might be like, a little bit. But Skyfall moves. It moves like Moonraker. It's got that kind of, fantastical moments to it. Of course it does. And if you liked or loved Skyfall, I think you're going to really like The World Is Not Enough. We got to throw Brosnan into the mix here, because to me, Skyfall is when Bond really started, or Daniel Craig started to get really comfortable with his Bond character. And I think it was the same with Brosnan. You know, he brings this maturity to it. And Skyfall was all about a mature Bond. He even says it's kind of like an aging Bond. The World Is Not Enough is kind of the same way, even with Q going, down, never see them, never let them see you bleed. And he kind of shrinks down. There's a lot of maturity and time factors with that I think are a lot of fun. All right, we've got to move to Spectre. So with Spectre, to me, we've talked about this, maybe not the greatest ending, maybe there's some plot holes, maybe, the way it's all connected together is not everybody's favorite, but it's got some great moments. And to me, that almost describes Sean Connery's You Only Live Twice. I think that it may not be everybody's favorite Sean Connery film, but it's got some great moments, especially from a location standpoint, the way it's shot. If you like travelogue type Bonds, this is one's for you. If you like the aspects of gadgetry being back and all the different surround sound of characters like Q and Moneypenny, You Only Live Twice, it's a great solid one to really connect with. And then, of course, you've got Die Another Day. Now, this is where you're probably shutting me off, but hear me out. If somebody loved Spectre, chances are they're a forgiving soul. Chances are they may enjoy things that get a little loose and goosed, and maybe that's just, I don't know, they've got a lot of heart for that. But Die Another Day, Brosnan, I think, does a great job up until a certain point, and then story fails him a little bit. Well, I think it's the same way with Spectre. I mean, it's almost like a bit of a doppelganger of that. And if we're throwing that into the mix, why not say, look, if you like the silliness of how Spectre is connected together, if you like kind of the colors or even the mutations of that aspect of it, maybe you'll like something just as colorful and bombastic, and that's Diamonds Are Forever. Why not? And I tell you what, I've got a lot of heart for Diamonds Are Forever, just because to me, it is a perfect sign of the times and picture. Brings us back to Doe. No, it brings us back to today. I was just talking about a rear view mirror, but here it is, No Time to Die. And with No Time to Die, try this. I think this might be fun. If somebody loved No Time to Die, why not tell them to bookend it? That was the last Bond. What about watching the first Bond, Dr. No? Yeah, Dr. No. Because I think it would be great for them to see how did Bond begin from a movie standpoint, not Casino Royale from rebooting with Daniel Craig's art, but literally the franchise. How did it give birth? And again, you've got a beautifully shot movie. Dr. No, it may not be everybody's, number one Sean Connery pick. For me, it's really up there very high because it's beautiful. It takes Bond on a ride. It's very Fleming. And you know something? That's No Time to Die. No Time to Die has some very Fleming moments. It's beautifully shot. It takes you on a ride. And to me, it would be great to just tell that person who needs to be introduced to the other movies, bookend it. You saw the last one, now watch the first one. Chances are they may watch them all the way through. See, you get them hooked. The other thing is, if you like No Time to Die, I think you're going to like Octopussy. And the reason is, I think it's one of Roger Moore's kind of growers, not showers. I think it's a great spy movie in and of itself. I think it has some incredible moments. It's got some silly moments, of course, but I think it has some moments that if you like storyline and plot, a more connected Bond to humanity and the realness of things, I think Octopussy is right there. And I think it also has a relationship. I think it's one of Roger Moore's most believable relationships because of Maude Adams. And so if you believe in the believability, how's that for overusing a word? With Madeline Swan and No Time to Die, I think you're going to like the relationships that are formed out in Octopussy. And of course, if you like No Time to Die, I think you should introduce to the person on Her Majesty's Secret Service. Where did that music come from? What about the whole connection of an emotional Bond connected and, thinking he would never connect to anybody. He's a hard-edged assassin and killer, and suddenly he's got a family. In On Her Majesty's Secret Service, he gives life and limb and country. He risks it all for a woman. Well, it's the same thing in No Time to Die. He risks it all for his family. So if they love that plot line, if they love a more human Bond, mixed with, some of the late 1960s, swagger of James Bond. I think they're going to love that together. Plus, some terrific action scenes. I mean, both of the movies have some incredible action scenes, but on Her Majesty's Secret Service, you can't argue from whether it's skiing or some of the car scenes or some of the action or some of the hand-to-hand fighting, just like in No Time to Die. It's a real cracker of a film. All right, there you go. All right, I'm not saying that you have a commitment or you're accountable to introducing other people beyond the Daniel Craig arc or the films. But how fun would it be for you to talk to people and give these types of scenarios? And by the way, these are David Zaritsky's. Invent your own. Give me an idea down below. I would love to see these. Post this. If you loved Casino Royale, what films do you think somebody would watch? Put down below. I'm going to read every single one of them. But this would be fun to do. And you know something? It's not a product. It doesn't take an event or a travelogue. It's not a video coming out. It's a way that we can connect with other people and spread the Bond word of a 60-year anniversary. Yeah, it's our own mantle that we're taking up in celebrating the Bond franchise and spreading the good word of James Bond. Well, there you go. There you have it. This has been David Zaritsky for the Bond Experience. The only question right now is, what film am I going to watch today? Boy, am I in the mood. Well, geez, if I liked Quantum of Solace, chances are I'm going to... Thanks for watching this episode. If you want to be up on the latest from the Bond Experience, just click on this subscribe and subscribe to our channel. You're going to get all the latest and greatest information, plus some exclusive content. And by the way, speaking of content, here's something especially for you, just because we know you. Talk to you soon.